Hey guys, Jaden Irwin here with Little Sticks. This is the last part of the Eleventy Crash Course series that we've been doing. This is really just going to cover one little piece of the blog post that we haven't covered yet. I know we've gone through everything as far as like creating layouts and creating pages and even like API requests and creating pages off of those API requests. I'll go ahead and get my server started here too. Really what we're going to cover is on the blog posts. If you open a blog post, we want to have tags or categories on those blog posts. In my Astro Crash Course series in the past, I did cover how to do this in Astro. You'll notice that with Eleventy it's similar, but not quite exactly the same, just because of the way the API works between the two. But let's go ahead and get started here. You'll notice that all I've done as far as prepping here is added the tags to the blog post. So if you look at post 1 and post 2, there's this tags array or tags list, and we've got tutorials, web development, Eleventy, and then tutorials and design. So the only one that's shared between the two is tutorials, so we should see both on that page. So let's go ahead and hop into the layout and then post.html. And the first thing we want to do is actually list those tags on the post. So let's go under the date here. We're going to do a list, unordered list. We're going to do a for loop. So this for loop is going to be for tag in tags. And then we're going to do a list item. And inside of that list item, let's do an a tag. Content of the a tag is going to be nunjucks. And we're going to pass in the tag. And then the link is going to be href equals nunjucks again. And let's do tag. So let's see what that does. We've already got this running. So you should see, yep, tutorials, web development, and Eleventy. You'll notice if I click on tutorials, it goes to /blog, /posts, and then all of that /tutorials, which isn't really what we want. So let's go back. We're going to do /blog, /tag, /tag. So now if I click on that, blog, tag, tutorials, perfect. But if we click on web development, you'll notice that it's not really a URL. It's not a valid, what we would consider a valid URL, right? It is and it isn't. It did automatically convert it to a space there, but we don't really want that space to show up in the URLs. So to fix that, all we have to do is use Eleventy's built-in slugify function. And this is technically called a filter. So you take in data and then you have a pipe. And then this is a function that runs that data, or passes in that data into it, right? So slugify tag is kind of how you can read that. Now if I go back and click on web development, there we go, /blog, /tag, web -development. So it removed that space automatically. So that's exactly what we want. And if we click on Eleventy, same thing. It is going to the page, but that page doesn't have content yet, right? So let's go back over here. And we're going to go into our main, I'll start collapsing some things here too. We're going to go into our source, create a new file called tag.html. And on this page, we are going to fill out what Eleventy calls a pagination setup. It's similar to this concept in Astro where you get static paths, or you go and kind of get the paths for the pages that you want to create. So you have to pass it data, and then Eleventy will automatically build those pages with the data that you pass it. And it's sort of like a page template, right? So pagination is what we want here, colon, and then we're going to indent the data. It's going to be collections. And then the size of the page, we only want one page, right? We don't want it to automatically create several pages in this case. And then the alias, or the name of the data, is going to be called tag in our case. And then we are going to use this, I'm just going to copy it, add all pages to collections true option. And if you want to learn more about pagination and how it works, I highly would recommend going to eleventy.dev, and you can go to their documentation, and pagination is right here in that left menu. Definitely learn more about it. There's a lot of things that you can do with pagination. In this case, we're paging a collection, and there's like a lot of things that you can do with pagination, including like paginating on a blog page, right? So you could have 10 posts per page or that type of thing. So really useful. We're just going to do this on one page though. And then we're going to do layout. You've seen this before. Layout / base.html. So we're just going to use our base layout. And we're going to do permalink and colon. So this is the link for the page that it's building. So it's going to be /blog. This is a template, right? So /blog /tag. And then nunjucks tag. You've seen it before. Pipe slugify. So it's the same as our link that we set up to our blog tag. And then if we go Eleventy computed, this is, think of this like the template for the title, the description. It's kind of the template that you would use for the front matter for all of these pages. So Eleventy computed title. So this is, again, the template for the title, tag. And then we're going to do, actually let's do something like post tagged with tag. You're going to pass the tag in. Perfect. And let's do an H1, and we'll just copy this. Post tagged with tag. Let's go back here. We'll click on a blog post, click on tutorials, and let's see what's going on. A good thing about Eleventy is it does build to our site folder, so let's see what we've got going here. So there's this tag at the top level, and that is not what we want. So let's get rid of those. And then what do we have here? Blog, and then tag, and then those, but they're not HTML pages. So let's, it might be these nunjucks set up here. What I'm going to do is kill the server, get _site out of there. So we're kind of like clearing the output folder, and then npm start. Let's see what we've got now. So /blog, tag, and there. Okay. And that might be our problem. I didn't add a / after the slugify. So let's do that again. Delete the _site. Build it, blog, tag. That looks much better. So now let's go back and try this. There we go, post tagged with tutorials. So a little bit of live debugging there. If you notice something weird is going on with your template page, always make sure on that permalink that you're adding that last /. That's telling Eleventy to go and create an index or an index.html. I think you could do this too, and it wouldn't cause any issues. Let's actually test that theory. I'm going to delete _site, build again. I'll go back here. There we go. So it is working. So that might be best practice with Eleventy actually, is add that / index.html. That way you're telling Eleventy, hey, like I want you to create a page, and that's kind of how Eleventy builds these pages, right? So /index.html at these page endpoints, right? So that's what we want to do is /index.html. So if we go to site, blog, tag, now we have design, and there's this index.html page for the design tag. So if we go here, edit our slug, oops, enter, post tagged with design. There we go. So this is a template, right? So theoretically what we could do is do for loop, right? For post in collections tag. So this is an array, right? Collections, the array of tag. We're going to do a list item. We're going to do a nunjucks template here, post.data.title. Let's see if that works. Cool. So we got example blog 2. Now let's link it up. href equals, so nunjucks again, and that should just be post.url. So it already knows where that post URL exists. So we go there, Click on it, it took us right back to it. We'll go to design, example blog, tutorials. There's all the tutorials post, example blog 2, and Eleventy. There we go. So that is really it. You'll notice that this might look a lot like gibberish. Feel free to read the documentation, but I feel like if you break this apart, you can kind of get an idea of what's going on. That's one thing about Eleventy that it's just like my personal preference. Eleventy feels a little bit more magical with the way that their templating works and the way that their API works sometimes. It's a little bit less programmatic and more magical, which is cool. You know, you just have to memorize how that template should look a little bit. Versus something like Astro, you're using a function, get static paths, and then you're passing in the data to that function, creating an array from that function. So, you know, it's just different approaches to the same problem. So, yeah, if you have any questions, definitely leave a comment below. I hope that kind of answers pretty much all of your questions around how do I do the basic things with Eleventy? How do I do those like general concepts as far as creating pages, creating templates that automatically create pages from Markdown, or how do I fetch? I hope that I've answered all of those general concepts and general questions that anyone would have getting started with Eleventy. So I appreciate you guys coming along with me on this crash course. I know it's been kind of like hit and miss, every other week type of thing. Maybe a month later you see a new post. I'm trying to be more consistent. I don't know if you followed recently, but there's been a lot of changes in my life recently with a new baby. So try my best though, and I appreciate you guys following along. The next crash course that I think I'm going to do is on Sanity, a headless CMS, just kind of a little preview for that. So if that interests you, if you want to start learning how to use headless CMSs in this Jamstack kind of concept and approach, then stay tuned. Go ahead and get subscribed, leave comments below, and thumbs up if you liked it. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.